that in Hong Kong. Well, here to discuss more about market opportunities is Graham Bibby. He's Managing Director of Richmond Asset Management, and he joins us now from Hong Kong. Graham, good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us. I want to start by asking you about the call that you're making here. A bottom in the market potentially, and this appears to be the case. Got to say, not a lot of people agree with you. I mean, why are you making this case right now?
Well, it's all to do with trend analysis. Around 6 weeks ago, we reckon the markets had the first signs of bottoming out. So, although obviously today is a severe sell-off in the markets, it hasn't reversed that trend. And what we're finding is on any pullbacks, we're getting this steady increasing buying of the markets, and the buying is actually expanding in breadth. Smaller company stocks are also joining in this buying trend. So, you know, for us, it looks like this is the start of the new bull trend. As you would expect in that scenario, normally you get maximum pessimism in the markets, and the headline news is still quite negative. And Fannie Mae would be, the question mark over Fannie Mae would be one of those headlines.
Right. Graham, you know, that said, where do you see, in terms of Asia, where do you see these opportunities? I mean, from a geographic perspective, or is this going to be a sector perspective?
I think you've got to be market specific. The US obviously is the major driver, and you've got to look below the financials to start with. And we've seen the biotech sector doing quite well for some time. In March to around May time, the semiconductor and the Philly semiconductor index and the Nasdaq itself was quite strong. We've had a pullback 6 weeks ago to retest those lows, and now we've got the positive uptrend. So on a momentum basis right now, we see markets like the Philippines and India being particularly strong on momentum analysis. Markets like Japan, markets like Hong Kong, still in downtrends, but if we're right about the overall backdrop of the market, and even including the financials in this, then, you know, those markets will turn.
I got to ask you about the financials. You just mentioned that, Graham. You know, you're saying the big banks, the big boys, Citigroup, Goldman, they've bottomed out. I mean, what we're hearing previously is really they're only halfway there. At least 500 billion, half a trillion more to go. You don't agree?
Well, the stock price is at, or appears to be at or near the bottom. We've just broken out of that severe downtrend, which seen some of those stocks go down over 60%. We're not buyers of those financials right now, but a potential bottom's in place. And what I'm looking at is scenarios. So that, you know, the Fannie Mae scenario, and what people are worried about is if they can't raise enough equity, the government's going to have to step in. And I think either way, they raise the equity, it'll be bullish. If the government steps in, it'll be bullish. And we're at or somewhere near the bottom in those stocks.
Okay. As far as commodities are concerned, Graham, I mean, is this the end of the boom, or or temporary correction? What's your call here?
Well, the CRB index has dropped off of a cliff, as you probably know, in the gold stocks. So again, I'm looking at scenarios. Why is this happening? And it could be that the global slowdown is going to be more severe than some people anticipate. Then you may say, well, why are you bullish on equities? Because we've got a lot of what I call the cavalry to come to the rescue yet. If that really is the case and the commodities are telling the story, then we'll see further cuts in interest rates. And in the short term, when I say short, I mean 6 to 9 months, that will fuel the stock market higher. In all of this, when you're trying to pinpoint the bottom, it's very important to have a stop-loss strategy. So if this reverses, we can exit, and then we'll wait for the real bottom to be in place if this is not it. But right now, because of the expanding breadth, this looks to me like the bottom is now in place. Okay,
Graham, thanks very much for your time today and your thoughts. Graham Bibby is Managing Director of Richmond Asset Management. Coming up, it's been a